Final word.
The final word.
Yep. This is game time, man. Let's get it. Let's go. Ooh-wee. So.
Yeah.
What's up?
The final word.
That boy Big said he froggy. He ready to leap on something. He ain't trying to hear nothing. What you say? I don't care about Akoye.
I sure don't. Get some damn Akoye. That's my dog, but I don't give a hell if some Akoye's on here.
Let's go.
The
bro.
final word.
Let's go, man. Yeah, so he's supposed to be in here. He ain't in here yet, but he gonna be here soon enough. We gonna settle this today, bro. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it.
The final word.
So, for those of you who don't know,
The final word.
the final word on Ezekiel Elliot, we got a special guest, Akoye. You know what I mean? It's been a lot of fighting going on. We gonna settle it. We gonna settle it, but we gonna talk more about it.
I'm gonna settle it with this L.
Nah, bro.
The
Ain't no
final
L's,
word.
dog.
The
You
final
already
word.
know ain't finna be no L's today, man. Ain't
The
no L's.
final word.
The final word.
Straight dubs, bro.
The final word.
The final word.
The final
Nah,
word.
not so much.
The final word.
Get this dub with ease like the last time. I even invited J Tuck, so if J Tuck come, he gonna get this business too.
I don't even need to.
Say, man, you talking a lot of shit over there, dog.
I don't need it though, for real. I came prepared. As soon as you said
Hey,
Akoye,
bro, come on now, dog. Come
as soon
on.
as you said
man.
Akoye, I said, okay. Come with that. Let's go then.
Alright, yeah. You know how it is, man. We getting ready to jump you, boy. OC might die. OC might even come. Boy, OC, boy, he might leave you hanging today, Big. See how I got y'all side by side?
I don't need OC neither.
You see
I
how
don't
we
need OC
surrounded
neither.
y'all? You see how the third
That's
man got
fine.
y'all surrounded?
I love it. Let's get it.
Okoye sitting behind you like he getting ready to pop both of y'all neck. Then Law sitting to you. You know what I'm saying? Law sitting there like he in
That's what
front of
I said.
y'all.
Y'all
I'm to the
was gang
side. Y'all not getting out today, boy.
I was gang. I said, okay. Well, that's how we doing it. All right, let's
The
go
final
then.
It's
word.
gang today, dog. It's time to settle it. Pick up. Let's go.
The final word.
Yeah, man. Let's get it. Yeah. Oh, let's go. Oh, it's gotta be on
What's up,
time
Law?
today.
What's good, Chief, man? How you living, man?
Chillin'.
Y'all
The
good?
final word.
Chilling?
The final word.
The final word.
The final word.
Doing
The
real
final
good.
word. The final word.
Sharing is
The
caring,
final
y'all.
word.
Hit that share
Final
button.
The final
Hit it.
word.
Hit it. Hit the share. Hit the like. Do all that. Let's go. All right, man. Let's kick it off, man. Let's go. If you don't know to come in, let's go. Come on. Yoga flame.
Yoga fire! Yoga fire! Yoga flame!
Lately I just wanna run it up.
I do.
Kinda check or something. I've been really in the field, let up. Yeah. I've been really in the field, let her rush, I let her feel. Lately I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately I just wanna run it up.
Akoye.
Yeah. Kinda check or something. Lately I just wanna run it up.
Akoye say he in the building.
Count that too.
I don't see him yet, though.
Lately I just wanna run it up. Need them ones, I need them fives, need them tens, I need that change to the safe. Got blues inside. Greens and pinks, it's all the same. I still save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play. Charge it to the game.
Charge it to the game.
I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T-Black, I'm with Rabbit now. I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, not switching sides, now it's about loyalty.
It is.
You switch sides
Facebook
off for the
Squad.
bag, and that's worth more to me.
Is his character.
I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit.
Call it. Come on.
I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it
With those
up.
likes up.
Ooh-wee. All right, man. So we gonna go ahead and kick it off with something real quick before we go give Akoye time to figure out the technical side. But we got some stuff to talk about while we waiting on Akoye. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this before we start handing out L's. So first, we gonna kick this off, and me and Law kind of was talking about this behind the scenes. So this is actually very much perfect. Here we go.
The chance you might go back to the table financially. Are you excited about that? To stay here longer than what?
100% I'm excited. Yeah, to be a Dallas Cowboy. As I said, I mean, always dreamed to be here. Now that I'm here, I don't expect to play for any other team. And now it's just about winning. So just trying to get that done. And just to hear, obviously, as you say in the front office, looking forward to an extension. So when that time comes, it'll happen. Kind of with Steven on it. It may just happen overnight, but when it happens, it'll be great.
Okay. So obviously they talked about that today, right? So
Right.
That came out talking like that today. So one of the things that happened obviously today is we saw Geno Smith get an average of 35 per year. We just saw Carr get 37. We just saw what's our boy from New York, Jones,
Daniel Jones.
get 40. And then Dak talked about his extension. So we gonna go around starting with you, Big.
I mean, basically, I don't want to hear nobody talking about no Dak and his money. Just shut up about that. You feel me? Because
That's what I said.
feel me?
I swear to
Just
God.
be quiet. Don't
Shut
say
up.
nothing else about no Dak. Don't say
Right.
nothing else about no Dak contract. Be quiet.
Facts,
Because
bro.
you see these guys getting paid, especially Daniel Jones.
There you, Jones.
Who? Daniel Jones? Who?
What?
Daniel Jones?
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like,
Bro.
I don't care what he came back with. And, okay, that was great. I feel happy for you, Daniel Jones. You came back and you had a good year. I'm not hating on the player. But come on, dog. None of us are scared of Daniel Jones. I'm not. I don't care how much better he did. Even when he improved. Did they beat us? Okay.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So nobody's scared of Daniel Jones, but you getting that kind of money. So there's no reason why people are like, oh, you paying a $40 million quarterback Dak and he ain't doing this and he ain't doing that. See, that's what they say. It's about the contract. It's about each year a quarterback is going to get his money regardless, right? A quarterback is going to get paid. So I don't want to just hear anybody saying nothing about Dak's contract. And even with the extension, it just makes more sense now than ever. You get what I'm saying? If you just got those guys, the extension for Dak Prescott, now it really makes sense. Now I don't want to hear nobody's mouth saying, oh, what, you're going to extend him? Look at these guys getting paid, bro. You get what I'm saying? So Dak he had interceptions. He ain't been no interception 1 year that he had a lot of interceptions. So what? Look at his whole daggone career. Guy's been a guy that's taking care of the ball consistently. So I don't want to hear that. The extension makes sense. Extend them. Get more players in the building. You're talking about, oh, we can't help Dak with the money. That's what Jerry Jones said. Well, extend them. Extend it out. They said you can extend them out. You get more money. If you extend them out, you'll be able to have more money to get players. Play in that. Well, you don't play in free agency pool, but trying to do, you're going to have money to be able to use if you go ahead and do that now. So that's just my kind of thoughts. Those guys got paid. Be quiet about Dak.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah. Shout out to Big Game James with his assessment on that. And he brought to my attention last year. He asked me, did Dak Prescott peak? Right? Or did I ask you, did Dak Prescott peak?
Yeah, you asked me.
Yeah, I asked you that. And you said yes, he peaked. And for what we can see is Dak Prescott at his peak. The previous year's 4,447 touch to 10 interceptions. I think that's more valuable enough to win a Super Bowl. So we can't get Dak Prescott to be better than what that is right there, tangible. But what we can say is put more and more weapons around him, and this team can go further. It's not about one isolated quarterback or one player. If we were 5 last year with Noah Brown and a guy that's 33 years of age, T.Y. Hilton, and Michael Gallup coming off of an ACL situation, why not extend that, put more and more weapons and pieces around him so that we can be better at 12-5? And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, let's put out a scheme, a system that can have Dak Prescott playing at his peak level or better. Let him stay around. And how do you do that? Is it by throwing the ball around 35, 40 times? No, it's keeping Dak anywhere between 24 and 27. And trust and believe, the $40 million that he's getting now is pretty much, as we can all see, chump change.
Nah, it's super chump change, man. It is a super chump change. So when you add, in my opinion, all of these people that's getting paid right now, right? Especially Daniel Jones. I feel you 100% big. Like, that is something that you really supposed to be like, bro. For anybody that's complaining about Dak extension, dog, like, real life, shut up, bro.
Right.
It's crazy.
For real. Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones, bro. 40
Jones.
million.
Let me say this. Let me say this too. Who's 1-6? He's 1-6 versus the Cowboys, by the way. So shout out to Daddy Jones. He's 1-6, and then they just put the franchise tag on Saquon. Y'all say it with me, Barkley. You know what I'm saying? And he's 0-7. He's 0-7 versus the Cowboys. Keep going, y'all.
No, man, I'm feeling you. Yeah, it's just one of those things that's wild. It's what, and see, I want to kind of go through something. Just keeping it real. Like, so I came across this article right before we was getting ready to go live. So let me show y'all something real quick, and then we'll talk about it. That's kind of suspect to me. Give me a second. What's going on with my? Hold on real quick. Hold on, y'all. Is my mouse tripping?
You good?
No, I'm not, man. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm having some issues.
Trying to sabotage.
Yeah,
no doubt, man. That's my third cousin, twice removed. Murphy Law, he always in here, man. He's here every episode, so I already know.
Hey, you know why he in here, Law? You know why Murphy in here tonight?
What?
Because he don't want to see y'all get this L, so he's going to start throwing out things in the air to try to prevent it. But Murphy, you're not going to stop this L.
Damn.
You're not going to stop this L, Murphy.
Come on, man. You know,
man, I'm having a major Murphy today.
So James.
Oh, okay.
So James, you ready to have? I love this analogy.
We got Akoye in the building. Turn your phone to the side.
I'm about to get in on. I'm about to get in on him, but go ahead.
Yeah, we got Akoye.
Oh no, don't go in. I'm going first. I'm going first, and then y'all gonna go after me. Bring on Akoye.
Wait, there he is.
I said, bring on Akoye.
Hey, wait.
Bring on Akoye.
Got me into.
Wait,
before we
fight.
My dog. What's up, Akoye?
Get the hat to the back.
Yeah, it's like a bonehead. He was like, bring on the Garthok. He's like, bring on. I'm about to get sacrificed.
See, this is the
I don't
deal,
walk in the Illuminati party or something.
No. Before we start this fight, we first talking about this Dak extension stuff. So we obviously want to get your opinion on that, big homie. Talking to you, Akoye, because we were just going around a circle, big homie.
Okay, so you saying what? Like, should he get extended? That's the question.
Oh no, let me just play the clip because you came in a little bit late. I'm gonna just replay it and then just go with it.
I'm on my computer. Why I can't get on from my computer? And
try it again, bro. We go just work it, bro. It's all good. You know how it is. Try it again from your computer. We want that whole setup. We want the real Akoye. We don't want the.
That's what I want.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I want the real.
We want the full. We want the gloves.
When I'm tearing up Akoye, I
want
your
gloves taped.
Be pausing and I'll be pausing and clipping them back and forth. No, I want full of it.
That boy Big is ready to fight. I can't wait to see this fight too. Hold on real quick, Akoye. Akoye says something. Give me 1 second, because everybody ready to fight. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I got it.
Everybody ready to do it.
Yeah.
You gonna get it too, Law.
That's okay, man. That's
What'd you
okay.
say, Akoye?
Yeah.
He handing out smoke like that.
No, it's some real smoke gonna go down, man. Boys want this fight, bro. They really want this fight.
What's the password? It's a password?
No, it ain't no password. It ain't no password, bro. You can just rock. So however you came in on your phone, come in the same way. Get off your phone first though, cause you're still on your phone.
All right.
Yeah, get off your phone first and then come in through your computer. Then it should work.
Yeah, coming through your computer.
All right, then we gonna get back to that, man. As you can see, we just kind of working out a slight little things, little bugs, you know. We ain't, but listen, going back to what I was saying though, and I might want to wait till Akoye come up in here and we talk about this. All right, but I don't want to wait too much. Let's just go ahead and go. All right, so I want to talk about something real quick. That I just peeped, y'all. All right, so here we go. So y'all heard the clip. Y'all heard
wow.
Good old Mike.
Yeah.
Old Mike
Friendly. Oh, there we go. There we
when
go.
When did Dak say something about friendly, dog?
Oh, Lord.
Huh? When did Dak say something about being team friendly, dog? Huh? This the clip.
Well, organically, to be fair, it's going to be a team friendly because it's going to hit that $49 million against the cap. So whatever as far as extending Dak Prescott, it's going to help the team out. Now, with that money, the Cowboys need to utilize and do things with it. Right. Now, I heard all type of analogies of whether or not, why would you franchise tag Tony Pollard and go into the draft and draft someone? And on top of that, keep Ezekiel Elliott. So it conversations we can pull from this. But one thing I do know for sure, two things for certain. The Cowboys, they love to talk about and they love to talk about money. It's the money that always worries. So I'm intrigued to know how this extension will work out and how they going to paint the pictures they going to say. Because they know how to build these things. They do, Boss Cowboy and Big Game, about, hey, we need the pie to be available for Tony Pollard. We need the pie available for Diggs and as well as CeeDee Lamb. So that will be the reason why we can't go out there and certain players that's on the market because of the pie.
Yep. You know that's already coming because he's already been talking about it. He already been talking about the CeeDee Lamb and the Trevin Diggs, and that sounds all good. But I don't even know if you're going to put all that money toward those guys. Maybe CeeDee Lamb, but you know, like I said, there's going to be, I don't know. We'll see.
Parsons,
but
remember,
like I said,
they're talking about the pie. They're talking about the pie for
yeah.
CeeDee Lamb and Trevin Diggs last year, right?
Yeah.
They didn't even talk. They didn't get a chance to have the slice, but they're going to be talking about the slice again of pies for Parsons in a few.
Well, you know, we got to pay Parsons. He's getting ready to come up, and he's going to be a lot of money. And you know, Trevin Diggs, he's going to cost a lot. He's a real different. He's going to cost a lot of money. So we got to make sure we're keeping our money for our guys. So. You know, we got our quarterback right here. We can extend. Okay, we'll see. But that'll be the excuse, Law. Can't go out there and get nobody as well, huh? You know what I'm saying? That's right. Where, like, why can't we get nobody? Well, you got to pay the guys. Yeah, okay, whatever. The New Orleans Saints are 50 million over the cap, and they signing Derek Carr, and they're gonna figure it out. You feel what I'm saying? Teams can figure it out. It's no excuse. Every team in the NFL can figure it out. It's just the Dallas Cowboys want to figure it out. They don't get their hands dirty in free agency. They don't wheel and deal. They don't, we'll give you a second and a fourth. Or, you know, they don't remember when they used to trade around back in the day? They don't trade up. They don't trade down. They don't do, they just kind of stand back. They just stand still and let it happen the way it is. Like the board, like I'm gonna let it just kind of fall the way it is. And they don't just kind of get their hands dirty. So it's really no excuse, but this is the Cowboy way. So it makes it easier for them to go ahead and say, well, we do this because of that. But y'all can really get creative, but y'all don't have, I don't know if y'all have the mind not to get creative or what's going on, but there needs to be a little bit more creativity within the Dallas confines, in my opinion.
And this is what you was talking about, Big, because you alluded to this. I'm going to play the clip to what you was talking about that just happened this weekend.
Well, it's we want to get all the help around him, but as we know,
hold on, let me rewind it.
With when you have a competitive paid quarterback in the NFL, then you're not going to be able to get the most skill around him. You're going to have to pick your spots and you're going to be a little slower one year than the next year. Not slow in terms of speed, just at what you're doing. You can't pay that position. Forget Dak a minute. You can't pay that position at that level. Take that much of the available dollars and then put the exact thing around him. When Dak first got here, we had one of the best offensive lines that, in my mind, that had been put on the field in a long time. And he had that. And so we had skill around him, especially offensively. Well, when you do what you do today and you invest in a quarterback the way you do with these premium quarterbacks, that
Steven done got all to him.
automatically has to be diminished.
He did.
Ooh.
He done got to him. He done got to him.
Let's go around the circle on this, dog. We're waiting on the Akoye. Let's go around the circle because I'm ready to fight. But before we fight, let's be friends first. You first, babe.
Right. I mean, like I said, I feel like Stephen Jones has just got to him now. You know, he's just really implemented. You know, I think he's just constantly in his ear. No, we can't do it like that. No, we can't do it like this. I think he's just all the way in Jerry's ear. And so many put holes in this. I was watching and listening to Twitter. So many people put holes in this because when he wasn't getting paid, right? What did you surround him with then?
Nothing.
Single year you had drafts.
Right.
Every single year you had drafts. Remember we had the receiver by committee?
True.
We had Deontay. We had who else had what was the one? Alan Hearns,
baby.
Alan Hearns. Really? You
Yeah,
surrounded them with that. You went cheap. Right, you went cheap with the. You could have went out there and willed and deal with a guy on a cheap deal. Because I'm not mistaken, Boss-in-law. Dak was a first-round draft pick, right? No, he was a fourth-round draft.
I almost say
he was even more cheaper. You feel what I'm saying?
$600,000
more cheaper as $600,000.
Yes.
For how many years did he
4.
play?
Hold on. Let
years.
me use my famous quote. Rico Gathers was making more money than Rain Dakota Prescott. You know, in the year 2019, even Michael Gallup was making more money than Dak Prescott until at the end of the year he got his bag for the Cowboys putting them on the franchise tag. So what I'm trying to say is that the Dallas Cowboys, a lot of people been hit with the Mandela effect because they literally will say, man, Dak always had massive amount of weapons.
No.
And every time I go over this, what happened here, team, is that anybody that played with the star would be elevated. They would look at it like, man, Michael Gallup was a first-round draft pick. From what the media will portray it to be. Oh man, Cole was world class, you know. But technically, Cole Beasley had his best years with Dak Prescott, not with Tony Romo. But we would say, hey, Dez Bryant, he was all like we had Dez Bryant in his prime. No,
right?
You know.
Right.
But that's how the people would portray it.
He was coming off a bad ankle. To your point, Dez.
Yeah.
Go ahead though, because you killing it.
Yeah. So those things. Now, I'm not trying to say that Dak Prescott didn't have any weapons. Of course, he had Ezekiel Elliott, and I would tell everybody, I would probably go to the grave. Roger Goodell and company. They pretty much ridiculed and sullied that guy in 2007. Hey, I got $20 in my billfold right now. That's what old folks say. You know. Billfold. I got $20 if you can find me the mug shot of Ezekiel Elliott being arrested or the arrest report. The brother never was arrested, but he ended up suspended for 6 games. And we've seen a multitude of other players who got arrested, who killed someone, who robbed something, who spent less time on the quote-unquote suspension list. Alvin Kamara played last year. I thought for sure he stumped a mud hole in somebody's face, but we don't see the same.
Stomped him.
Yeah, the lights come on, you know what I'm saying? So I get it, I understand it, but come on, man, it's Cowboys versus the world.
And Law, I want to say something real quick, just to your point. See, because I think we be way hard on Dak, bro. See, because you said, man, I ain't trying to say like Dak ain't have no weapons. Let's keep it real. Dak weapons was average as hell. All right, so this dude had Bryce Butler as a rookie.
Break it down.
Thinking he was a #1. And remember, in the first 6 games, Dez missed 3 games, and we still went 3-0 with Bryce Butler. You know what I'm saying? And then let's
break it down.
Witten was 80. I don't give a damn if he gonna be a first ballot. He was 80, bro.
Right.
Like Dak was working with an old ass Witten. I don't care what nobody say. The person that had the young Witten was Romo.
Right.
I ain't trying to hurt that Dak had weapons because he ain't have no weapons until Amari Cooper, and that was only Which is your point, Big? Because that's what Big was saying. Big was saying when he was making 600,000, y'all did nothing.
Nathan, yup.
And then it took him what? He came in 2016. They didn't even get Coop until 2018, and that's when after 2017 was bad, and then we had to wait until 2018 was bad, and it was about to go off the tracks before he had to actually do something about it. And we were all amazed that he did it. And Stephen Jones still talks about that one trade. In my head, I'm like, bro, like, stop patting yourself on the back. That was so long ago. You act like you did some amazing thing. Because Hey, yeah, I do.
Yeah. Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
before my guy Akoye go,
came in here, he ready to fight already, man. Akoye, man, we ain't ready to fight.
Think about this though.
No,
Think about this though
office,
too. In 2018, remember, look, that offensive line that Mama, Uncle, Cousin talking about, there was a fortress. Hey, Travis Frederick, he was hurt. We had to build the plane while it was in the air, and we already know about my boy Tyron Smith. He couldn't finish out that year. I think we ended up having Byron Bell or somebody on the left tackle side, and we had Joe Looney, Big Joe, as the center. None of those guys playing in the National Football League to this day. But what I'm trying to say here is that, hey, that was the year we went 3-5. The Cowboys were looking at it and saying, how do we get out of this hell pit? They went and made a trade and got Amari Cooper, and he kind of flipped everything around, extended everything for the Cowboys' good graces and mercy there for us, you know. But
Let me
go ahead.
Let me catch up Akoye real quick. This is what we talking about, Akoye.
The chance you may go back to the table financially. Are you excited about that? To stay here longer than what?
100% I'm excited. Yeah, to be a Dallas Cowboy, as I said. I mean, always dreamed to be here. Now that I'm here, I don't expect to play for any other team. And now it's just about winning. So just trying to get that done. And just to hear, obviously, as you say in the front office, looking forward to an extension. So when that time comes, it'll happen. Kind of with Steven on it. It may just happen overnight, but when it happens, it'll be great.
All right, so we just basically giving thoughts on obviously the quarterbacks that just got signed, and then him talking about his extension. What's up, Rome? I see Rome in the building. What's going on, big dog?
He looked kind of surprised.
What'd you say, big dog?
I said he looked kind of surprised by the question. Like he was like didn't want to answer the question for some reason. But I mean, my thoughts on it is like, I mean, I would like to extend them just so we can free up some cash. Like, you got to get creative in this offseason if you want to re-sign guys or even, you know, expand the capabilities of this team. So he seems open to it. I mean, I think because he was on the spot, he was more so open to it. But either way, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea.
See, one thing I was encouraged about hearing that I like, and Law, you gonna feel me when I say this too. Dak is clearly not involved with these negotiations at all. He said,
because he looked surprised, right?
Right, and he was like, when it happened, you know, Steven might do it in other words, I ain't talking to them, they not talking to me. We know he telling the truth on that, Law.
Right.
We know that.
You see how he said Steven. Well, maybe it happened like Steven says. We just wake up one day and it happened.
Right.
I just felt like that was a little sarcastic thing.
Yeah, because that means his agent is fully involved. See, because them Joneses, they like to close you. But that's showing you that he's staying flat-footed, bro. I'm not finna negotiate with y'all. He say when Steve gets done, we go find out together.
In every contract so far, they said we couldn't come up with terms of agreement. I heard that multiple times. And I heard it by Tony Pollard. I heard it about Donovan Wilson and LVE. Well, damn. When can y'all come up with terms of agreements? You know, so who is in these rooms with these negotiations? Because in my opinion, I'm gonna ask you, Akoye. When was the last time the family won on a contract?
That somebody actually won on a contract? It was probably Dez or Zeke, maybe. Zeke held out and won.
Yeah, he won.
Dez or Zeke.
Yeah, Zeke
Well, I'm talking about when the last time the Jones family won.
Oh,
I think they win it
none.
a little bit.
They don't. They either pay out late or they don't pay you at all. One or the other. They lose or they pay you out late and pay you more. Because they wind up paying Dak more than would have had to pay him had they signed him a year or two sooner. So that's a loss. They paid Dez what he wanted. Loss.
But remember, they franchise tagged Dez first. Franchise tagged him so they can negotiate it, right?
Yeah.
And then he was late. And then they tried to rush him. And then when they rushed him, he broke his metal foot. You know, this bone in his foot. Dez haven't been the same since then.
Nope.
Collectively speaking. As far as his explosiveness
and they tried,
and
they tried the same thing with Randy last year, lost last year. So I think whoever's going to the negotiating table is probably Steven. They think that they're in the Patriots ilk. And what they don't realize, the main ingredients in the Patriots, the reason people will actually take those types of deals for the Patriots is, one, the coach, which I think we're establishing a culture here that'll make somebody want to actually play for us with guys like Dan Quinn and Mike McCarthy. But the other ingredient is the chips. Like, if you know you can come here and you can seal your legacy, you can win a Super Bowl, you'll do that for cheap, like Chad Ochocinco, like Randy Moss, those guys. You'll do it for cheap because you understand why you're here. You're here to win so that you can get that broadcaster money or some other kind of money later. None of that's guaranteed coming here. You come to Dallas, because you come in as a visitor, you see the nice locker rooms, you see the stadium, you see the practice facility, you say, oh, they got money. You start counting. But they don't bring that money to the table though. So it's just a little different. I think that's why they lose those deals. They're thinking that they're Robert Kraft already, and you got to win first to get that type of leverage, and they don't have it.
This is where I do.
Hey, boss, can you pull that chart back up? Because that was a nice one, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to talk about. This chart right here, where I think they win it. Right. See,
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this though before you go. I would say they won that contract on 77, 72, and 70. They won those three contracts there. I would agree. They won.
Yeah, they won on 77.
77.
Oh, they killed 77.
They
killed 77. Hey, killed you 77.
I think they won.
You gotta pay 77 like that. I don't think he understands. He always hurt.
But that was they did
why they
that before he was
They
hurt.
won though.
They did that before
he was getting hurt.
They did that when he was young. Yeah, they got him out the gate with that.
They got him good.
But I think whoever the agents are, you got yourself as a Cowboy, period. Do you even really? I think it's a dumb thing when you look at a team that keeps trying to build a structure a certain way. If you really say you want to be here, you really don't want to beat the Joneses, to be honest with you. So 77, you see he's still here, probably the smartest one. Him and Tyrone Crawford lasted forever. D-Law won, I believe, but you don't really want to win because usually when you win and you get paid big here, it's like the beginning of the end for you. Like 2 years later, it wants you out. If you want to win, if you win, you only gonna get 2 years of that money. And if you get hurt or if they can find any wiggle room to get rid of you, you gone. Whereas if you take a team-friendly deal, you will be here forever. So you remember the Wire? They say you want to be the king for a day or prince forever. I'd rather be the prince forever. So take less money, but you're gonna get all that you work with less because you're gonna get all your money if you take less because they'll keep you here throughout the life of your contract. Whereas if you go to get a high deal, you're not gonna see it all. They're gonna get rid of you before
you're gonna get cut.
Wait.
Get cut.
Let me jump in real quick. I'm gonna jump in. First, this is where I think they win it. The duration of the contracts. So go look at Romo. Around that time when Romo first got his contract, most of the quarterbacks at that time, and still to this day are getting 4-year contracts. You know what I mean? So they got a 6-year duration out of him. They got a 5-year duration out of Dez, which allows them to stretch and maneuver and restructure and all kind of things. They did the same thing greatly with T. Smith. They did it with Fredericks. They did it with Zach. They put Zach Great Martin on a 6-year, dog.
They winning with the O-line.
They killing them,
philosophy
boys.
probably
They
only work
killing
with the offensive line, though.
They
you know.
killing them, bro. Because what you're doing when you do the long-term contracts, you selling out your youth. See, anybody want to get right back into a rising
They want to hit
cap.
free agency again.
Right, you want to hit free agency again. And that's where the Jones has been winning. They put Jalen Smith on the 6, Lyle on the 5, Zeke on the 6, Amari was on the 5, and Dak ended up having a 4 with 2 voidable years, which is like a 6. They killing the game when you really look at it, like, you know what I'm saying, and manipulating these contracts.
But they don't know what to do with the money, though, Chief.
That's
like,
it,
if you pull that chart back up,
they know what to do with the money. They
put-
just don't want to do it. Don't say that, Law. They know what to do with the money. They just don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I don't think
What I'm saying is, though, even as battered and bruised Romo was, could they added more and more weapons to him with that 6-year contract?
They could
have
When
had
you
nobody.
look at what he had when he got hurt, though, look at the team we had when he got hurt. We had a good team 2016. That team was good. Dak won with it. You know what I mean? I think if Romo comes back for the playoffs, they probably win that game too. So I think that was a good team.
Akoye, I want to run something by you real quick because you brought up an excellent point, bro. An excellent point that I don't want to sleep on what you just said. And it also, to me, applies to Dak, bro. So I said right before you came on the show that I did about 3 hours ago, I said I think Dak should actually work with them Joneses on this one. Because of your point, bro, that we know that they will basically crash this whole ship to be right. That's why they ran up their price. The first time he should have been 28 to 30 million. He ended up being 40 because they was running up their own contract. So if I'm Dak, to Okoye's point, and I want to go around a circle on this with all of y'all and get y'all points of view. But if I'm Dak, I'm gonna be like, listen, man, I am gonna come in a little bit team friendly. Because I don't want y'all to tear up the team. I want y'all to restructure, and I want y'all to build around me. I want to play this for the long term, like Akoye said. Well, I take a loss now so that y'all can stop being egotistical and build around me. I'm going to start with you, Akoye, because that was a hell of a point.
Man, we say something in Philly. We say later's greater. And that's real. That's real. Like, I feel like to build your legacy, if you're smart here, I'm just watching everybody who argues with the Joneses and wins.
Right.
You still don't. It's like, you know, sometimes when you win, you really lose, and you still don't win when you beat them because they don't forget it, and they're waiting for you to split now. They don't forget it. They know they paid you, and there's always something in the contract, whether it be if you're a behavioral guy like Dad or Pac-Man or any of those guys, you're going to have a clause in there where they're hoping that you do something that allows them to eliminate your contract. If you're a guy that's just, you know, a halfway decent guy like a Schultz or a good guy like Dak, they're gonna do something where it's incentive laden or it's gonna be a certain term period where, like, 3rd year, you know, we can cut you. Like they got Zeke right now where they can get rid of you and they just eat their losses when they feel like it. So if you don't want them thinking that way and you want to be here, you work with them. That's really how it goes. Like you got to work with them. And I understand people wanting money, but I haven't seen too many guys that fight and then leave. I don't even see that in free agency, period. Free agency is like a carrot that you want, but the way the owners play together, you don't really want it anyway, because you might go somewhere else to get money, but I don't see that many players, except for maybe Khalil Mack, a few guys, Amari Cooper when he came here, but they don't go and have long-standing careers with the same team once they leave that original team in free agency in the first place. Like, free agency is like, you know, it's like a portal to your way out of the league, usually. Are you a journeyman or a mercenary, or both? You know, like a Odell Beckham. He's a mercenary now.
Yeah,
like,
mercenary.
I guarantee you he would much rather prefer to just be sitting here on the Giants trying to figure out how to work with Daniel Jones on a long-term contract rather than bouncing around with all this uncertainty. So if you want to have a guaranteed career, and I know that sounds like you laying down, but I think you work with you dance with the girl who brung you, and you make sure you stay with what's working. Unless you got drafted to a team that doesn't have a quarterback and you're a wide receiver and you want to go team up with a guy that you know can solidify you, something like that. But if it ain't that, you're not just, a guy that's going to a scheme, or you want to follow a coach like Dan Quinn leaves and Sam Williams want to go with him. I get that in free agency or trades, but other than that, it don't ever really work out. You wind up being a mercenary. That's look at Le'Veon Bell. He's gone. He was out the league. I don't even remember him playing any quality snaps for the Jets after that Pittsburgh debacle. It's like you wind up sitting on the show, and then you wither away, and then we forget about you a season or two later. That's what's been happening, and that's with any team. That's not just the Cowboys. We just a little more strict at it.
What's your thoughts on that?
Because Jones will make sure, if he like you, he'll make sure you land on your feet. If he hates you, he gonna send you somewhere you gonna hate. Ask Amari Cooper.
Oh my God. Go ahead, B.
He sent him to where they sent Odell. That show you how much they like him.
That's facts.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying, but he still went over there and almost had a damn near career year over there in Cleveland. Go look at the numbers.
Oh no, yeah, I feel you there. No, I'm not talking about that, but I'm not talking about what he did there. But he didn't want to be there.
Right. They sent it to oblivion.
Wherever he at. But he didn't want to go there though. Yeah, they didn't want to go there.
Yeah, they definitely sent
I
it to
feel
him.
He was happy here.
What was your thoughts on Dak being team friendly? My crazy idea. Is that a shotgun in the back, B?
Yeah, you know what it is.
Oh, you got a shotgun.
I said I had to come ready. I had to come really prepared.
Okay.
I got my rifle right here.
So, this boy got the shotgun, bro.
Shotty, baby. We keeping it right here at all times now.
I forget
at
that.
all times.
I don't even want to talk about that
right
no more. I'm ready to get to this fight, bro. This is what we're here for. We came to fight.
I'm first.
I'm done with that. I'm done with that.
I'm first.
And let me tell y'all something. I got you. Yeah, we gonna let you definitely go first. And Jay Tuck.
Just don't be John Morano gang.
Jay Tuck, I got you.
I ain't gonna be John Morano.
Oh, I think we got the OC in the building. I didn't even know the OC was in the building. Hold on real quick.
Oh, they gonna come now, huh, boss? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that
OC came to give me some help.
He want to come when it's time to fight. You know that's
when it's time to fight, the OC gonna show up. Let me put the OC picture back up in here, bro. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, this is lit.
Yeah,
come out and come in, OC.
Now, you know what I mean?
Come out and come back in, OC. You pixelated. Cause we now the fight getting ready to start. I'm sick of this.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Matt Batten. Thank you for the support. Matt Batten, and thank you as well, DC for life.
Yeah,
Matt Batten. He's sponsoring this show right now.
He's sponsoring every show.
Boom, there it is. Ooh.
There you go.
There it is.
And
Tuck, he makes me
Tuck, if you
red
want to
good.
come in this fight, you are more than welcome. Tuck, we got you sitting right there. And look at this dude, like he ready. This dude got the hoodie. All right, so let me say
I'm letting you know right now. I'm about that action today. I'm about that action.
Hey,
man, why we delaying this? Stop doing all this talking. When we gonna start this?
It's
all this back and forth.
Hey man, we getting ready to fight. I just want to let Jay Tuck know he's welcome to come on in here. I just want to let Jay Tuck know we still got you sitting right here, big dog. So if you want to come on in, we right here. So let's set the groundwork first. Because I just want to set the groundwork.
I'm ready to go.
So this is the groundwork first. So first of all, it's been a lot of fighting over this. All right. And I'm going to tell you right now, the people that's right on this is Lau, Akoye, and myself.
Wrong.
That Ezekiel Elliott is a major asset for the Dallas Cowboys. We finna set the record straight.
Oh my gosh.
And we got y'all surrounded. I want y'all to notice this thumbnail that we strategically got y'all surrounded. Akoye, he getting ready to snap the OC's neck.
I'm ready to get with this.
I'm finna bust you upside the head with the trophy big. And Lau sitting in front with the shotgun. So let's go. You first, dog. Kick it off since you say you ready. Let's go.
Can I kick this off?
Well, let's go.
Can I kick this off?
I'm sick of it.
All right. So y'all gonna have to give me at least 2 to 3 minutes. I'm sorry, because I can't prepare.
Uninterrupted.
Right? So,
uninterrupted.
All right, uninterrupted. So this is my first one, and then y'all can bounce off of this. All right. So first, this is where I come in first. So when we're talking about Ezekiel Elliott, first of all, Me and Akoye already went back and forth on Twitter, so shout out to Akoye because we went back and forth on Twitter, and I give Akoye a hella props because he's good with his wordplay. He's so daggone good. He can convince you. He's so damn good. He can convince you. Not gonna convince me. He's good though. He is very, very, very.
Sound like you're
I'm just
scared
giving
to
you.
me.
I just want to give him his props. Now let me jump into this. Now let me jump into
All
this.
these props
So
with a shotgun
first of all,
behind him.
last year, right? You tagged Tony Pollard, which we didn't like. I didn't like because I want you to go ahead and give him a deal because that's $10 million and you're probably not going to get a deal done. So it's probably going to be $10 million for the year. So if that's the case, $10 million for the year. Ezekiel Elliott last year made $12.4 million last year, right? The Chiefs and the Eagles combined with their running backs on the roster were paid $10.3 million, right? Right there, that tells me if Ezekiel Elliott takes a major pay cut, let's say he ain't taking no veteran minimum. Let's say it goes down to like $5 million. If you keep both of them, that's $15 million. Who's starting? Tony Pollard better start, and Ezekiel Elliott better back him up. Now, let's go right next to that. Ezekiel Elliott, 2016 has the most carries of anybody in the NFL with 1,881 carries. You don't think that's beating up his body? I don't care how good you are. You have that many carries on your body, you are going to wear down, period. All right? When everybody's telling me, oh, he's an asset, oh, 12 touchdowns, oh, he's a great blocker. That's not a lie. He is a great blocker, but 12 touchdowns were short yardage. You can't get back in the draft short yardage games. So we're just going to keep Ezekiel Elliott because it gets short yardage. I don't get that. Just for short yardage touchdowns? No. And we're scared to let Ezekiel Elliott go because he can block? That don't even make no sense to me. Now, let's go to the yards per game. Every single year Ezekiel's been in the league, his yards per game has went down. No, it ain't. Every single year, his yards per game has went down. Every single year, right? Now, if you look at when Kellen Moore took over, right? Kellen Moore took over in 2019. And he was the and everybody talking about his pass happy. And that year, Ezekiel Elliott ran for 1,357 yards. The next year in 2020, it dropped down to 970 yards. He only had 2 less carries the next year, and every single year it went down after that. And it also, if you go to Ezekiel Elliott's yards after contact, it went down. It was one of his worst years with yards after contact with 2.74 yards of contact. In his career, that's his lowest, second lowest, because last year he had 2.73. So you can see his yards per contact is going down. 10 gains of 10 plus yards or more, right? When he came into the league, yards of 10 plus yards or more. 48 when he came in the league. 41 in 2018. 2019, 38. 2020, look at the drop from 2019, 38 gains of 10 plus yards down to 22. 2021, 24. 2022, 17. Look at how it's went down every single year. So you're going to sit there and tell me that we're going to need Ezekiel Elliott for that? You can't get a running back in this draft right now that can't get you explosion. If you already got a Tony Pollard and you still got Malik Davis, who we were pleasantly surprised, you can't use him in short yardage games. You can't draft a running back right now in this deep class of running backs. You can't get a running back right now that can add to your team. And if Ezekiel Elliott on the roster and you draft him back, now Ezekiel Elliott becomes the Jason Witten. He's a progress stopper because now he's getting in the way of your other running back. What if that other running back comes in on third downs? You start seeing that explosion. What we're going to say, no, we can't play him because we got a Ezekiel Elliott. You got a guy that's making $5 million a year because now, remember what we talked about, boss? When you got Jerry Jones says,
nope, I ain't talking.
How long is 2 3 minutes?
No, this is the longest 2 minutes a year.
How long
Damn, man.
This is a monologue, man.
I said I want to give him. Not going to say nothing else.
I'm doing the whole video.
You answered a lot of questions that need answers.
Dog, this is a video.
What I'm saying is true. What I'm saying is true. Because guess what? Listen, because guess what? When we saw La'el Collins on the team, we saw La'el Collins starting over Terrence Steele because of the money. So if you get a running back in here and he's making less than his Elliott, Who do you think play over him because of the money? But is he going to be the better player? And then y'all not going to tell me just because you got a Brian Schottenheimer in here and a Mike McCarthy, all of a sudden Ezekiel Elliott, who turns 28 this year, 8 years with all those carries, all of a sudden he's going to be a different back now? No. I think the best way is go ahead and move on. Stop being scared. Stop being scared, because that's what it is, or why you want to keep him, because there's quality backs in this draft that can go ahead and take his place. Period.
All right, hold on real quick. First of
I don't
all,
even know what you're
the first rule of war is don't empty your clip, bro. You done emptied your whole clip. You ain't even got no more bullshit because you done let out all your.
You got a musket. That was a musket.
You done let out the whole clip, dog. Can
That
you
was
save
a
some?
machine gun. That was a machine gun. I still got something for you, but since y'all was talking so much, I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop. But as soon as y'all come with something, I'm gonna counter it.
All right. So
He done gave his closing argument.
He done gave a whole closing argument. OC, since you also we gonna let all the anti-Z guys go first.
Yeah.
So go ahead
Closing
and then we
argument.
gonna smoke y'all. All right, and listen, don't be like Big. I'm gonna put the time on you. It's gonna be 2 minutes.
Oh,
Can
my
you keep that
gosh.
time, bro? Or you gonna be like Big and just break
As long as
order?
we be
Let me
having
know,
shows,
dog.
as long as we be having shows till 1 in the morning, I don't want to hear none of that.
Hey man, it ain't gonna happen today, but not today, big dog. You boy got shit to do, dog.
So do I.
Listen, guys.
That's my dog.
At the end of the day, when you talk about Ezekiel Elliott, I'm not, first of all, anti-Ezekiel Elliott. I'm pro good football personnel decision making. Okay, I'm not anti-Ezekiel Elliott. I am pro good personnel and management in terms of football decision making. And so, here's what the data suggests, guys. And I'll start with 2 points. Okay, I got plenty more. Okay, but I'm gonna give you a couple things. Northwestern University did a study. Okay, from 2001 to 2016, talking about the production of running backs by age. Okay, and it was a span of backs in the NFL. I can send you guys a study later. All right, and the study suggests that the absolute last peak year for a running back would be the age of 28, which is the age that Ezekiel Elliott will be this year. But the primary peak years are from the ages of 25 to 27. Ezekiel Elliott is past that. And there is no running backs from 2001 to 2016 that have finished as a top 10 running back past the age of 28. Now, Ezekiel Elliott, based upon my research, he ranks around probably the 20th or so rated back in the league this year based upon productivity and what he did. So that's one. Number 2, and I'll stop here, is that if you believe that success breeds success, you'll also believe that decline breeds decline. Okay, and the bottom line here is that Ezekiel Elliott has had an injured knee, and it doesn't matter that it didn't require surgery. An injury is an injury, and injuries beget more injuries, and especially for a running back, it slows them down and it's taken away a step in his quickness. Therefore, the productivity is just not there to warrant the money. I'm okay with Zeke back at a low number, $5 million and below. That's what I think. But if it's beyond that, you can get depth in the draft. You can figure out a way to get that productivity with the guy that doesn't have wiggle and doesn't have a run beyond 27 yards this past year. All right, guys?
Weak. All right, so listen. All right, so we got the guests in the house.
You can say weak, but I'm just getting started, and I'm gonna stand on your head in a minute. Go ahead.
You said the truth, OC. You said it all true. He can say weak all you want. He ain't got nothing to say with it.
Nah, I'm finna smoke y'all, bro. I'm gonna let Akoye
You
go
ain't
first,
fit to
though.
smoke nobody. You ain't about to smoke nobody. You ain't about to smoke nobody. You ain't. You ain't got no smoke.
See, Akoye, hold on real quick. Akoye, man, listen, can you go and finish them off? I'm getting sick of them.
Man, well, first off, I want to say, when y'all talking about fiscal response, OC, what's up with you too? I actually agree with OC on the price tag. So if you're talking about should Zeke, and you can't keep moving the goalpost either, because see, my issue with James is you said things, but my main argument is Zeke is still a quality back. He still can give you some things, and I don't think he deserves to be off the team. Does he deserve a pay cut? If we arguing that, OC, I agree with the numbers you threw out there and all. $5 million or less You know, give him a sign-on bonus, and this is the last time you're gonna make money. Cool, with that. But is he finished? I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because I was judging Zeke just as harsh as anybody when I looked at the film. But what I found when I looked at the film for the last 2 seasons is that he came into each season very healthy and was running quite well. And the injuries weren't a decline from attrition, like he's just slowing down throughout the season as the season progresses. He's actually getting hit on his knee each season. So when I look at that, that takes away from the decline conversation, because it's not a decline. If Tony got the same hit, he would have been the same level of injury.
Exactly.
We already see that. So
right.
Anybody who bends the knee backwards is going to decline. But
right.
what they're not going to do is play out the rest of the season for you, getting 9 more touchdowns. That's what they do. And when you say that they never bounce back, I could take you to a running back that's similar in age, is C-Mac, who had 2 back-to-back seasons, one where he played 3 games and was severely injured, another where he played 7 games and was severely injured. And this season was one of his better years after 2 straight back-to-back seasons of severe injuries where he's on the sideline. I would say that maybe Zeke shouldn't have played, but the argument on our team would have still been the same if Zeke was sitting on the sideline and he just showed you what he had on tape, which was explosion to those injuries. And to your point about the 27 yards this season, we're judging the guy who was definitely wounded, but who definitely carried us at a time where we wouldn't even have been in the conversation for 12-5. He didn't do what he did while Dak was sitting on the sideline injured as well. You know, right? But last season, hold on.
His time is up. His time is up.
Oh, wait. You went a whole another 4 minutes after your time was up. Wait, no, you went a whole another 30 minutes after your time was up, bro. We can give Akoye another 20 seconds.
Hold on. I want to ask Akoye one thing. He said, I just want to ask you one thing, Akoye. I just want to ask you one thing. You held us down, right? Because in that Tennessee game, when Tony was hurt, and he could have held us down. He had 19 carries for 39 yards for 1.9 yards average. How was he holding us down?
Point out your boy. Pollard had games like that too, bro.
True.
Did he not?
But we ain't talking about Tony Pollard.
Yes,
we
we
talking
are.
about Ezekiel Elliott. No, we ain't.
Stop it. Yes, we are. He's talking about injuries. Well, both of them was injured the last 2 seasons, and both of their productivity. We didn't see Tony Pollard's productivity go down because he got injured at the last game of the season. But had he got injured earlier, his productivity would have went down too. And the year before, they had plantar fasciitis, where he was actually hurt both years as well, and he didn't do the same, run halfway near as good when his foot was hurt until it healed. Now, the year before, where y'all say he hasn't had any long runs, Zeke's long against Cincinnati in his rookie year for 60 yards, right?
Right.
His second longest one was against Carolina for 47. So his explosion was there when he was healthy. That's what I'm saying. I'm arguing that we can't go. It's a deep draft. You can definitely go find a back that can do what Zeke does. I would never argue that, right? The argument that I have is that is every player on this roster. When you hear the draft, you can go find a player that can do what they do. That's any player on this roster. We can go find a back that can do what Dak does. But my point is, when a player gives you his all and he still has something left, I'm from the ilk of Larry Fitzgerald, Elgar, Tim Brown, those type of guys where you have players that perform, you let them perform and do their thing. You don't let them by any means become a Jason Witten. Now, calling Zeke a Jason Witten because he played injured for you 2 years in a row, to me, is a slap in the face for a guy that does what we say we want out of a player, which is bleeds blue. When they bleed blue, we say, oh, you broke down, we don't want you. And when you don't bleed blue and don't want to go across the middle, you don't want to sell out for the team, we don't want you there either. So what's the standard?
What's the standard? They making
up
standards. Hold on. Wait, we got to go to law. Wait. I know y'all want to fight. Nobody interrupted y'all.
Yes, indeed.
Ain't nobody interrupted y'all. Go ahead, Law.
All right.
Well, let me raise a question, Big Game James and the OC. Do you guys consider Joe Mixon a good running back? Yes or no?
Uh-oh.
I consider Joe Mixon a solid running back. Yes.
Yes.
I think
all right. What about you, Big Game James?
They dodging.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay.
He's good. Is he better or less than Ezekiel Elliott? Yes or no?
Wait. I see the setup.
Is he better or less than Elliott?
Is he better or less than Ezekiel Elliott?
Oh, y'all don't hear the question?
I'm gonna say he's better right now.
Oh, they don't hear the question now.
I think
said he's better than him right now. Yes.
I think he's better than
Right now,
Ezekiel Elliott at this point.
Let me put the time on long.
At this point in his career, overall, you can't compare him to
all I
Ezekiel
wanted
Elliott.
to
Ain't
hear,
that some bull?
ladies and gentlemen. All right, so now it's time for Law to karate-size some guys over there on the other side of the coin. Give me my 2 minutes, by the way. You got a guy that's younger, that's better than Elliott, and he had less yards and less touchdowns than Ezekiel Elliott last year. And the average yards per carry was right at each other. Now, Joe Mixon, everybody, mama, uncle, cousin will bang the table in half and say, yeah, give us Joe Mixon. Give what he brings to the table. But he only brought 7 touchdowns last season, 815 yards.
Lord, that's weak.
But Ezekiel Elijah Elliott off of a
outdo
more
a dude that
yards
hurt?
and more touchdowns than those boys over there calling about Joe Mixon.
That's weak.
On top of
That's
that,
weak.
guys, listen to what I'm saying. The blocking ability, what Ezekiel Elliott brings to the table is really, people can argue that that's not even tangible. So what I'm saying is sometimes when you look at a picture from the lenses of the Cowboys, you only see the player that went through the end, took me, what have you, but they don't look at the complete picture. Ezekiel Elliott is a complete back that can help this team out.
The same thing you said last week.
Yes, it did. So all I'm saying right now that make sure that even if you guys want to get rid of Ezekiel Elliott, you got to replace the production. On top of that, the unknown is taught because I look back on his resume. I never seen him play a full year without getting injured. On top of that, Tony Pollard is a dude that been with split back responsibilities. I think it was sometime last year was his first time ever getting more than 15 touches in one game. So those things pile up. So what I'm saying, what we don't want is week 7, week 8, something happening to Tony Pollard. Just make sure you replenish. And Ezekiel Elliott, as much as people like to boo-boo on that dude, keep in mind there was only 3 other running backs that had more touchdowns than him.
You keep on going back to that touchdown thing, man. No, he did not. Law didn't kill nobody. You be hyping people. Law said the same argument for the last 7 weeks. He didn't kill nobody. You keep on talking about your 12. You keep on talking about 12 touchdowns inside the 10-yard line and the blocking. You ain't saying nothing else. You keep saying that same thing, Law. I just told you the same thing. You don't know where it goes.
Joe Mixon was better. You said Joe Mixon was better.
Did he get 100 yards this year? Answer that question. Did he get 100 yards this year?
What did Tony Pollard do against the tough team that we played?
I'm saying Tony Pollard not a feature back where he gets 20 carries a game. It's not his game, so you want to have another back. You forget, is Malik Davis, do y'all like or not? Yes or no?
Malik Davis.
Say that again, you chopper.
Man.
Do you like Malik Davis? Yes or no?
James, though. James.
Oh,
when
man.
you said that he declined, his carries have declined.
Right.
If his carries decline, he's gonna decline. Obviously.
Right.
Like
I'll show you where his carries. I'll show you his carries.
Simple.
No, I'll go to his carries. No, I can go to his carries.
And on top of that, big Dave, when you brought up 2020 and 2021 and 2022, just keep in mind in 2019 and 2018, he had Mark Colombo as a different offensive line philosophy too.
Okay,
I think that changed too.
Okay, so you said
wait,
decline,
wait.
right?
You
said his carries decline. Hold up. No, you're not
Everybody
going to
had
say
their
that to
money
me and I
long
can't
except
talk.
me. Everybody had their money long. Let me get my money long again. I'm going to put
Can
the clock on me.
can I say one quick thing, boss?
Wow, his carry dropped.
Because I haven't had it.
His carry dropped.
No, it ain't no rebuttals because I ain't had my money long. We not even at
Let
rebuttals.
me have
We at
one
the
quick
money
thing.
long.
Hold up, boss.
No, ain't nobody getting nothing but me. That's
No, let me give you one quick thing.
Ain't nobody getting nothing but
no
me.
mixing.
You messing up the flow trying to have your way, dog. That's what's happening right
Look,
now.
I didn't interrupt anybody.
You
I'm
play
asking
offensive
for one
lineman.
input.
You play offensive lineman. You need to block right now. That's what
Man,
you need
that
to do.
don't
You need
mean
to block.
nothing.
Go ahead, bro.
That's what you need to do is block. All right, so here we go.
I'm gonna wait.
I'm finna
I
go
gotta
ahead and
get
lay
y'all
mine
over
out.
the
Listen, I'm gonna put the clock
Go
on
ahead,
me.
boss.
I was
Go ahead,
interrupted.
boss.
Here's the clock. Boom.
Go ahead,
All right, so
boss.
there's the clock. So first of all, let me break all this down real quick. I'm gonna just lay it out fast. I'm gonna be done in under 2 minutes. All right, so check this out. This is what none of y'all can really address. First of all, Zeke is a points back. And you lying if you think a rookie can come in on a bad leg and give 12 touchdowns. You lying. It ain't happening. No, you ain't getting 12 touchdowns out of no rookie that's hurt. It ain't happening. You ain't gonna find somebody that did that in the last 20 years. Stop it. That's number one. Number two, what you ain't gonna get is y'all are underrated physicality. Because you ain't gonna also find that many backs like Zeke that's actually physical to the defense. Who on this draft class is just that physical to this defense? I don't care about how cute you run. Do you hurt that D? Oh, you can't find none of them in the draft. Stop that. Stop. And then number two, RB averages are overrated. Because that's what y'all talk about, these averages and data and statistics. Because you talked about statistics. If we go look at Jerome Bettis, when would you have got rid of Jerome Bettis, OC? At what point in his career, who played a lot longer than Zeke? And he was an asset to the 2004 championship, was he not? Because he had 13 touchdowns just like Zeke. Stop it, son. And so then check this out. Frames like Zeke are harder to find. You can't find no frames like Zeke, but you can find frames like Pollard every day. You can't find no, stop it. You ain't gonna find no running back that came out the draft running a 4.4 at 220. Stop it.
He's not running that now.
Yeah, but I'm saying you still can't find. The only person that's like that now is Bijan
And he's been hurt the last 2 years.
But I'm just saying, you can't find no frames like that. Bijan is the only one in this draft like that right now. So y'all,
he's getting hurt every single year.
Okay, I'm reclaiming my time. I was interrupted.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
I'm reclaiming my time. I need about 20 more seconds. I'm reclaiming my time. All right, here we go.
Take 20 more.
So Zeke lost a step is over exaggerated. That's over exaggerated.
Please.
No, that's major over. Cause see, Akoye raised the biggest point ever on his video. You know, this is what Akoye said, which was a fact. He said, "You do not call somebody depleted when they played hurt for your team. You clap." That was, man, I'm gonna clap for Akoye right now for that. You supposed to clap when boys are warriors. Clap it up, damn it. Oh, y'all ain't gonna clap. Oh, y'all not gonna clap. All right. So let me just say this real quick. I'm gonna stop.
You ain't to clap. You trying to act like
I was finna kill y'all. See, I'm telling you, I was finna kill y'all. Ooh, I was finna kill y'all. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go ahead and stop. I'm gonna keep on.
No, you can go ahead. How you gonna keep going? How you who you killing? You ain't killing nobody.
I got some more. I got some
more.
more.
Only good
I
argument.
got some more.
The only little good argument you had was about Jerome Bettis, because as I said before, he's been in the league 8 years with the most carries, and you'd had 2 back-to-back seasons where he's hurt. I'm not dissing Ezekiel Elliott because he's been a warrior. I'm not dissing him because of that. But at 225, I have not said that at all. But what I'm saying is, y'all keep on saying, "Oh, there's a place for him to do this and that." But if you draft another running, he's got some juice. Let's say you get let's say you just got a Zach Cabernet comes in there and he starts doing really good, and you're Ezekiel Elliott that much money. What I'm saying is, what do you think the front office is going to do if that rookie is playing really good and they got Ezekiel Elliott at that $5 million? You think they're going to sit there and play that rookie over Ezekiel Elliott, and that rookie is getting juice with Tony Pollard? And are they going to do that?
I mean, this is the thing.
Yes or no?
I agree with you on a progress killer. We don't want no progress killer. But what we don't want is, to me, I don't want more added pressure on Tony Pollard bad leg. See, this is another thing that Akoye said that he ain't say today, but I know he go talk about. Zeke is also Pollard insurance. Ain't nobody talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you take Zeke off this team right now, you also got to be concerned that you're putting too much of a load on somebody that you're not even sure about with his bad leg right now. So in my opinion, why shouldn't we be for 3 backs, not 2, 3, to where they are insurance for each other? Why can't we be down with that? Why we got to get a real Zeke?
So we throwing away.
So let me say something real quick, Big. Let me jump in here. Real quick. So listen, let me just dismantle some fallacies that I haven't had a chance to dismantle yet. So at the end of the day, man, Joe Mixon versus Ezekiel Elliott is just a horrible, fictitious fantasy football comp. Okay, you got Joe Mixon who's 26. He's 26 years old versus a guy that's turning 28. He's had 1,300 carries in the league versus a guy that's almost had 2,000 carries in the NFL. So that's not even an actual comp. We're not even comparing apples to apples here. And the reason why we bring up Ezekiel Elliott and the concern here And the concern here is because Ezekiel Elliott has taken a beat in his career. He's taken a pounding, and Father Time is undefeated. When you take hit after hit, I don't care how physically gifted you are, how tough you are, none of that stuff matters in the game of football. Everybody has an expiration date.
That's so
and furthermore, wait a second, let me dismantle something else. Hold on, Paul. Let me dismantle something else real quick. Because at the end of the day, when we talk about the fictitious element of running backs coming back from massive leg injuries, we're talking about exceptions and not the rule. That is not an exception. I'm referencing the example that Akoye gave regarding the running back coming back after 2 major leg injuries. We're talking about an exception. That is not the rule here. That is not the rule. There's only one guy, in my opinion, that came back successfully after a massive leg injury to go on and have a pretty good rest of his career. Wait a second. His name was Adrian James. He had a massive leg, and that's one. So I'm saying that's an exception. It's not a rule. Furthermore, if you look at the empirical evidence and the data, this is not. Wait a second. This is not Zeke hate. This is not Zeke hate. Right. This is Zeke reality. You cannot. Wait a second. You're talking about how good he ran before the Detroit game, right? You mentioned that, right, boss? Yeah. You agree with that, right, boss?
Of course he ran good before the Detroit game. You saw it yourself. Stop it.
Wait a second.
You
said that he ran. Wait a second. You said he ran very good and he was on the money. He was all of that. Okay? Listen, and I'm not hating on Zeke. I'm just giving you guys the information. Go back and look at the data. Zeke had 3 games. Zeke had 3 games before the Detroit game where he averaged 3-something yards a carry with 15 plus attempts. So I'm telling you that the productivity. If you look at the productivity, wait a second. It's still not what it was. So I'm saying I want to give an argument that we're trying to say that Zeke is not declining. That's not true.
Come on.
That ain't true.
Boy, ain't nobody.
So what I'm saying is that
hold up, boss. Boss, you said boss.
No, we got to go Akoye and then you big.
Zeke gives you a great finisher. He gives you an insurance policy in terms of being able to get a yard in a cloud of dust. Absolutely. He knows how to get to the end zone. He's one of the best finishers of all time. But can you get somebody to help with that productivity? Well, you can't say that you can't because you didn't know that you had what you had with Zeke until you got him in the league and he started running the ball in short yardage. You didn't know that. So you can't say that. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Akoye.
Okay. Number one.
Getting you next, boss. I'm getting you next.
All right. I got downs, man.
You had Edrin James, you had Frank Gore, and you had Willis McGahee who played well. So it wasn't just one. There's a few of those. That's not an exception. That's an exception.
That's an exception.
But you also said you also was capping because Akoye just mentioned surgery.
How come you can interrupt, boss, and nobody can?
My bad.
Hold on. And then,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
You have backs. Don't get me twisted. I actually agree with most of the conversation when we talk about the fallacy that backs are needed on a certain level in the league overall. But you do get generational players or once in a lifetime players like a Parsons on defense. We have a Marshawn Lynch type back on our team that runs like a Marshawn Lynch type back.
Perfect.
You said, OC may have lost a step, but when you look at Marshawn Lynch's career, he played for 12 seasons. 12 seasons. 12 seasons. 12. He was injured several times.
12.
He was injured several times before he became valuable to the Seahawks. Before he won a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that Zeke is at the end of his rope is what I'm saying. Although he did have a lot of carries, he is a guy. That's my point. You're making my point.
Right.
Most backs can't. Look at what happened to the last back that Brian Schottenheimer had. Carson. He ran him into the dirt.
Right.
Because most backs can't take what is asked of them. Zeke is a guy that can take it and keep on coming even when he shouldn't.
Right.
Even when he shouldn't.
Right.
He's still coming.
Right.
So what that does, it makes it so that guys like Tony can be the best they can be because less is more with Tony. Everybody says, oh, Tony should. What we did to Tony this season, y'all ain't talking about. It is shady. Why? Because now Tony on a franchise contract will have to prove it after a surgery. He got to come out here and carry it more. And what makes you think a guy who, like you said, carried over 15 times a game is now all of a sudden going to carry? He should get more carries when he's been injured severely with less. Zeke does not get injured severely because he knows how to protect his body while he's running the ball. I like that because of his availability. Availability matters to me. Now, if you have running backs that are breaking down, meaning, and I'm not talking about taking a hit on the knee and putting a brace on. I'm talking about torn ACLs, broken legs, broken shoulders, broken rib, all kinds of things where they are not available. I understand that argument, but when you get a Frank Gore guy, when you get a Willis McGahee type of guy, a beast mode type of guy who is a true soldier, no, you don't pay him through the roof anymore. I will agree if we're talking about 18 mil. But outside of that argument, we cannot agree because what else do you want? What else do you want in a back? What else do you want?
What do you want? Y'all so damn greedy.
How we greedy? First of all, you was telling me, you was saying, boss.
Hold on, Akoye, don't finish. Hold on, we got you, big. I got you.
That's cool.
I'm liking this, though.
I'm gonna stop yelling because my mic be going out. He ain't cooking. So you said before the Detroit game he was turning up, right? In the LA Rams game, 22 carries, 78 yards.
Hold on. Before you start your assessment, both of y'all keep doing the same thing. Tell y'all what y'all doing. You talk about 2 years when it comes to injury. You hold on. Listen, I'm gonna tell you.
I'm not saying the injuries.
Y'all break it all in. See, don't talk about his last 2 seasons of injury, but then not talk about his last 2 seasons before injury. Because y'all know, y'all looking at this season when he got less carries because Tony was getting more in a contract year. And he had Cooper Rush throwing the ball. So we knew that Zeke was the only threat in those games before he got injured as well. Like the Eagles game where he held us down, the only bright spot on our offense. But when you look at that, also look at the first 8 games of last season before Denver. Look at the first 8 games of last season before Denver. So look at both. Don't just look at 2022. Last 2 seasons, that's what I looked at. Before injury, what did Zeke give us? And I was fine with what he gave us.
He gave you similar productivity. So I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at a decline in productivity on yards per average, and being 2 seasons of a hurt leg. And I love him being a soldier. I'm not hating on you.
I'm disappointed.
So what I'm saying,
you said, hold on,
you got smarter than that, OC. I know
you got similarly. Wait a second, boss.
So you mean to tell me Kelly Moore wasn't a factor in this? Are y'all gonna act like Kelly Moore wasn't a factor in this?
Hold on, now see that's what you're doing. See, you ain't right for what you're doing. Talking about
2020 to 2021, boss. You got similar productivity there.
With Kelly Moore, I can show you the.
I got the numbers. Don't want to run the ball. Y'all are so dirty. This is dirty. This is despicable. This is despicable.
Saying with Kelly Moore, he ran for 1,500 yards.
Akoye said it best. If you take away the opportunities, you're going to take away the production.
That's what they're averaging together. That's why his average goes down.
Right.
His average before he got injured was both times. Last year, he top of the league until he got top 6 back in the league.
But you keep on mentioning the injuries. That's the point.
Hey, why you fussing? Why you fussing, man? What Akoye do to you, man? Why you fussing at us, dog?
They ain't do nothing to me because y'all just keep giving excuses, dog. Y'all just giving this man excuses, bro.
Hey, man, Akoye, your friend, dog.
I love Akoye, but I'm not listening to that.
Hold on,
never say that. Don't put words in my mouth, Akoye. I ain't say that. Don't bring no D-Law.
Hold on. Let's get order.
Don't bring D-Law. Don't bring
Nobody can hear.
Shame.
D-Law trash too.
Don't D-Law. Don't bring up D-Law.
2 people talking.
It's trash.
Okay. Don't bring up D-Law.
All right, we've been arguing from Law.
What?
Law been quiet for a minute.
You know what? Hold up. Can I answer this though? Can I answer? Okay. Don't bring up no D-Law playing on hurt because that dude had 6 sacks and had 3 in 1 game. So you talking about 3 the rest of the whole? You know, 17 games this season. 17, he gotta play because but he talking about he playing hurt. He play hurt because his
26 million. You could pay a lot of guys with $26 million, brother.
In the last 2 years,
if you let him play a whole year, Sam Williams would have outproduced D-Law easily. Since y'all talking about money, why y'all ain't talking about that?
Yeah. Go ahead, Law.
You
Go ahead, Law. Go ahead.
Law should sit his butt.
Law, you better start talking. They gonna let you talk.
butt
We got
down.
the camera on Law. Go, Law.
All right, I'm quiet.
hey man, you know, I get with what y'all are saying, but in the last two, I think that Ezekiel Elliott been just as better or as good as D-Law, you know. And I know you talk about the 3 sacks in one game. I think my guy Ezekiel had what,
against
2 or 3
the Giants
touchdowns in one game. Yeah. So I get all of that. But the last time a rookie had like 12 touchdowns in 1 year as a rookie, you had to go all the way back for the Cowboys. You had to go and say Tony Dorsett in 1977. And then if you look at Adrian
But a rookie
Peterson,
can do it,
you
Law.
have to pull
Any
up
rookie can do that, though.
2007. Yeah.
Any rookie. We can just go get us a rookie. We can
Look.
just go get us a rookie to give us 12 touchdowns. And you ain't seen it since 1977. If y'all don't go sit down, go ahead, Law.
Inside of 10.
In the Dallas
He
Cowboys.
can't get nothing. He can't get nothing for 10 yards.
Oh my God! Go ahead, Law. Law is killing right now. This is good, Law.
Law ain't killing nothing. He keeps going with the same argument. Law is not saying
Hey
anything.
man, why you fussing, bro? What we do to you, dog?
Cause man, y'all just be saying the same thing. It's not making no sense. But whatever, bro.
That boy Big AJ's got the shotgun behind him. Don't really shoot us, dog. Go ahead, Law.
Don't shoot me down, man. I'm just the messenger, Big Game James. I'm just pulling out the facts for the Cowboys, man.
And I pulled out facts for you, but you don't want to listen to them.
12 touchdowns was Tony Dorsett in 1977. Did you see that rookie year, Big Game James? I know you saw it, didn't you, dog? You know what I'm saying? I know you was around.
You was around.
77,
You
right?
was around. Yes, you
How
was.
big was Tony Dorsett? How big was Tony?
But the point is this. See,
y'all want to talk about that? He wasn't a big dude.
No.
Be quiet. He was little. He wasn't even over 200. He got 12 pounds. So it can be done. Don't tell me that.
It ain't been done since 1977. That's my point. For us to just say, oh, we can go get us a rookie. I guarantee you ain't gonna find no rookie in the last 40 years that got 12 touchdowns on a bad knee.
On knee.
Boy, you keep on mentioning injuries. You keep on mentioning
credit to Zeke. Why that gotta be taken away from Zeke? Why can't we give him credit? Because listen, I'm gonna say you a damn good fighter, Big. Big, I'm gonna say you a damn good fighter if you whoop me with your hand behind your back. I'm not gonna say, I got with Big. He was fighting me with his hand behind his back. So why can't we give him credit for being a good back?
Why do you keep on mentioning
mentioning
his injuries though? But you keep mentioning the injuries, so you're playing to our point. Every time you keep saying something, you be like, but that before his injury, but before his injury, but before his injury. But that's the point. He's getting injured. He's getting injured.
Oh man, that happens, bro.
All right, so let me ask you this though. Let me ask y'all this though.
It happens when you start breaking down.
He not breaking down. He got hit on that knee.
How is he not breaking down, Law?
I
mean, boss.
Well, my guy, Coach Maher, my guy, Coach Maher brought this up this morning. He was saying that based off of both running backs collectively, that was 1,900 yards, 24 touchdowns. Are you willing to just throw all of that away? And of course, 500 yards received off of both running backs. Are you willing to rip the Band-Aid and throw all of that away to lean on Tony Pollard in the unknown? Are you willing to do that?
His receptions went down every single year. His receptions went down every single year.
Just last year. Yeah. Based off of last year, 2 running backs that we had, Ezekiel Elliott, they had 1,900 yards collectively, 24 touchdowns, 500 yards receiving. Are you willing to scrap that away and bring in a new guy? Who will be your new guy?
They quiet now.
We're drafting.
Look at them.
We're drafting.
I'm not quiet. I was thinking you go.
We're drafting. You can't predict. We can't. No, I'm talking. I have not stopped talking. So stop saying that. I've been talking. So let's go. you can't predict what back is going to come in. You can't predict that. So what you're telling me is let's go with the known because we're scared.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with
You can still hold on.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Law says two things: blocking and touchdowns. Blocking and touchdowns. He don't say nothing else. So we can't find there's no black. What'd you say again? Say that again. He's hurt. Thank you. Say again. He's hurt.
Who was the best running back? Who was the best running back for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Sanders.
Boston Scott. Gainwell.
I would say Sanders.
Who was the best? No, it was Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was the best running back.
Your point, OC. I agree with
you.
He
also played
quarterback.
That was the best running back. Okay. So listen, guys. Just real quick. I mean, hey, and I'll kick it back to you guys. Look, you can keep Ezekiel Elliott for the right number. Okay, and I do. The best point that Boss Cowboy made the whole show is this. It's something that I've mentioned before as well. You need a third running back in here that you invest in anyway, because you got one guy coming off a leg injury, one guy that's aging, and you need some fresh meat and some fresh legs in here. Now, to your point, right, you have some options in the draft, right? You can go. It depends on how high of a draft pick you take in terms of a running back, okay? You can draft several guys, man, that are good running backs that could come in here. Carbonet, the guy out of UCLA. You can draft that guy. There's another guy, I think his name is Stewart, out of Syracuse. He's a good running back. You can take that guy.
You can't guarantee we can draft him, though. See, you guaranteeing
baby.
Teams that might make them guys too. But you keep saying we can draft like we can. You can't guarantee we can draft him.
Ezekiel Elliott went 4th in the draft.
We're talking hypothetical, ball, so you can't guarantee nothing. I'm answering the question on who would the running back be. So I gave you a couple of examples that you possibly could get to add in good quality running backs into this mix, which is what you need to do. Regardless of what you do with Ezekiel, you gotta add some fresh meat and legs in here, somebody that can go get it for you and prepare for the future. Because all the data suggests, and I can send you guys 3 or 4 different studies, that after 28, the running back fall off the cliff.
You actually, I don't even understand why OC in the argument on this one, because you actually right. Like, I don't have a problem with drafting a running back,
right?
But I just have a problem with those who say kick Zeke off a bridge and draft a running back.
That's what I got a problem with.
Running back. I think a 3-headed running back system saves all 3 of these guys.
This is what I ask you. I want to do this. Can I ask this? Can I ask this, Akoye? Can I ask you this?
Hold up, big. One thing.
Okay.
You won't have to pay the rookie very fast because he won't have the stats. Tony won't be injured because he won't have the carries, and Zeke can elongate his career, get some more stats, whatever, later in the years, and not put that much wear and tear on his body. So drafting a running back, Corum, I like Charbonnet, all those guys, Kendre Miller, you can get a running back that can do some things with us. I think a 3-headed system is what we're going to be. And Zeke does need to be he will be at $5 million or less, or he won't be here. That's not something that we got to even have a conversation about. So, OC, you 100% right with what you're saying. I have a problem with those who try to attack Zeke as if he can't get healthy in the offseason like he has in the last 2 offseasons. In both, he's coming the season healthy and playing well. So I think he could do that again because he wasn't severely injured. So I agree with you, OC, on that. Like, of course we got to draft somebody, and we have to prepare for Zeke leaving. He's not going to be here for another 5-6 years. So, of course, you're right about that. And Tony can never carry the load. I don't want Tony carrying $250 a year. So 100% we got to draft somebody that can eventually 2 years from now take the helm, maybe 3 years from now take the helm and do his thing. I definitely agree. So I agree with that.
My question is to you is this: I don't agree with that. When you're saying get a running back, 3-headed monster, but what I'm saying when I said this could be a progress stopper, because it depends on what you're signing Ezekiel Elliott. If you draft one of these running backs and he's a good back, and you have Ezekiel Elliott on there, and you know how the Joneses work, right? We all know how the Joneses work with the money. People who are getting paid the most usually play the most. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so what I'm saying is this: if we get a really good back, let's just say they went out and reached and got, let's say Bijan. Okay, let's just say that, right? And he comes in and he's turning up, and then they said they signed Ezekiel Elliott for $5 million. And Bijan is doing good. Now, I wonder is Bijan going to get kicked because Ezekiel Elliott is making the $5 million a year, and we love Ezekiel Elliott, and we can't let it go? Is that progress stopping?
No, because with Zeke making less money, it allows you the wiggle room to push Zeke into a role like that Jerome Bettis role, where you use Zeke where Zeke is best.
Right.
You don't have,
you're going to do that, though.
When he's getting
do
money,
you think
he's on the clock to have to perform to get that money. So that's why he was getting those
That
carries.
sounds good, Akoye. With the
tools.
Dallas Cowboys, Akoye. We're not dealing with these other teams, Akoye.
We're dealing with Mike McCarthy, not Kellen Moore, though.
18
That's
mil,
well, you're dealing with Jerry. You're dealing with Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones too.
Yeah,
boss.
But see, Mike McCarthy has shown that he's willing to buck them, versus Kellen Moore showed that he's a Trojan horse. See, you couldn't run up to. You cannot run up to Mike McCarthy and say, "Give Cooper less targets." You couldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. But Kellen Moore, Trojan horse, would. And so all of us said, even going into this season, before the season started, we said that Zeke was gonna be phased out. So how did we all predict that Zeke was gonna get phased out, but then we blame Zeke when he's phased out?
I'm not blaming him.
Well, let's get into the final words because I do gotta go. Let me go ahead and go first, real quick.
Ty.
Before I go on to these final words, I do want to ask the chat, how did y'all enjoy this? Because this was real. This was not scripted. This is real. I love it. This is.
I loved it too.
Yeah.
I like that.
This is also a very hard conversation. This ain't easy, but this is real. It was nothing fake. Everybody saying what they say, believe what they say on this show. First of all, I like that. I want to get y'all opinions in the chat. Tell me what y'all thought of this real, true, live debate between some of your best content creators. And what I also want to say as a final word is I appreciate you guys putting your pride aside, fighting this out from your point of view, but staying within the context of good spirit of this debate. I saw that today.
Right.
Now, this is what I want to say for my final word, because I kind of let out some bullets. I'm going to just let out a couple of more just real quick. First of all, I really mean this. To just say replace Zeke with a rookie is lazy. Because at this point, we got their 40 times. We know their names. We got their tapes. Start putting names on it. I'm sick of hearing that. Just replace him with a rookie. And like Law said, you can't even find one rookie to get 12 touchdowns since 1977. Now, you sure ain't gonna find no rookie that was able to do that on a bad leg. Of course, Zeke is not a rookie. My point is, stop saying you can just get that type of production from a rookie. It's lazy. I don't believe it. I think it's phony. Number two, judging players hurt is not real. It's bad analysis. So when Dez hurt his ankle in 2017, it was people that were saying he declined that year. No, he was a warrior that year, and he should have been applauded. Akoye was right on that. When you come back off of surgery to help your team, or you playing on a knee that you need an offensive lineman knee brace, and you still have that much production, I'm not gonna say that you declining. I'm gonna say I need to see what you are when you come back. And then I'm almost finished. I got a couple of more, and then that's my final word. Pollard is the new risk, so Zeke is the insurance. Yeah, Zeke is the insurance. And then this is what nobody else is also talking about: the Kellen Moore cause and effect. Ain't nobody talking about that. See, that's what was getting on my nerves when the OC was talking about them stats. Go look at the stats. Go look at the production. Go look at the stats. Let me tell you, that's what you'll see with the stats. Ever since Kellen Moore took over, you saw less touches, less throws, not just to Zeke, but also to Pollard. That's my final word. We won.
No, you didn't.
All right.
Who's next? I'm gonna go.
You go. I got it on you, big dog.
Okay, good. First of all, I appreciated all y'all.
Likewise,
I appreciate all
That's
y'all.
my dog.
I really do.
Bro. It's a good fight.
I really love
Good
this.
fight.
I had a great time with this. I love y'all points. Boss, you made a great point out of your because you didn't make a lot of good ones, but your good one was that Jerome Bettis one. That was a great point. That was a great point right
Appreciate
there.
that, dog.
And I just want y'all to know, I don't think Zeke, never have I ever said it. Go watch my videos. I made him. I gave nothing but love to Zeke, and I think Zeke is a warrior. And I'm not dissing him because of the injury. I'm saying the injury is starting to come into play. And what I'm saying, when we see the Jason Witten, how it could have been a progress stopper after a back that comes in and he shows, and they have that so much love for Ezekiel Elliott. I wonder if he who really starts showing good, does he get a chance because they love Zeke so much? That's what I worry about, because I feel like you got to be able to give these other guys their due. So we'll see how it happens. But when you're talking about the Kellen Moore thing, the average from 2019 to 2020, he only went down 2 carries and he dropped 400 yards. So there was a big slip with that, but the carries weren't. But like I said, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, it was tight.
Me and OC won. It was 3-2. It was 3-2. Me and OC beat y'all 3-2.
For rumbling.
Yeah, you did all right.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all did all right too. Y'all ain't nothing, but I appreciate y'all. Me and OC won, and that's my final word.
OC, you up next, dog.
Yeah, so listen, I mean, this debate is just one about proper decision making, and the best organizations always let go of running backs a year or two before they go into a decline, right? Look at the Patriot way. Oh, they won a lot of championships, and that's what I really want for the Cowboys. I want us to make intelligent, very, very good personnel decisions. And, you know, here's something that nobody's talked about either, Boss Cowboy. We mentioned Ezekiel Elliott getting 12 touchdowns, but we didn't mention the offensive line that he ran behind. He had a clear offensive line, and he was given the ball in advantageous situations, not to take anything away from him, but he was given the ball in short yardage advantageous situations to where he, you know, it was probable and likely with a couple good blocks that he could get into the end zone or could make that yardage. So can a running back do that? Can a rookie running back do that? Well, you'd have to measure that if the rookie running back was running behind a quality offensive line and given the football in those situations, number one. Number two, if you talk about the aspects about not judging a man when he's hurt, man, that's the same thing that you should say that, man, hey, you shouldn't judge a guy that ran the draft. He ran in the draft and his leg went 100% healthy and he ran a 40 and a slower 40, right? Well, it's unfortunate. This is what I'm teaching my kids. Life ain't fair. So if you're out there and you're not 100%, it is unfortunate. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's unfortunate. People judge what they see when you play. And that's the reality of the NFL. But I think the Cowboys are in a good position. We got draft picks. We can get extra help, which we got to do. I'm not saying off with his head Ezekiel Elliott, but I am saying it needs to be a considerable reduction, and it needs to be insurance policies to be sure that we do not suffer in the run game with a decline in Ezekiel Elliott or a questionable Tony Pollard. That's my final word.
No, it ain't done yet. See, you talk to me, so I got to respond to that. This is the
I know you was coming back.
No, because that was phony what you did, bro. See, because you
It ain't phony.
no, it's super phony. Because see, this is the thing that you know, OC. You know this as an offensive line that played all across the offensive line on the D1 level. You know the short yardage game is a hard game. And there are certain running backs that's built for the short yardage game. To just pretend like it was only a lack of opportunities, as if why rookies have not did 12 touchdowns is just disingenuous, and you know that. Zeke is a specialist. No, Zeke is a no. I didn't interrupt you. One time. Zeke is a specialist. Zeke is a specialist on money downs, bro. And so you got to get, and that was my first point. I didn't just add this bullet. This was my, I called him a points back. That's my bullet right there. He's a points back. So when you sitting in the red zone and you need a guy that can push the pile forward, they got the power, the strength, the heart, and is a hammer. Everybody not built like that, OC, and you know that, dog. So disingenuous, and I'm disappointed in you. I'm just disappointed.
That's true. But
no, we done with you. No more. We done. No final word is over. We got Akoye now.
That could do it if they were given the same opportunities. That's all I'm saying, Boss Cowboy. And now I'm done. Go ahead, Akoye.
You trying to say?
I'm trying to say.
You really trying to say it wasn't no run? It wasn't no rookies giving opportunities in the red zone. You just trying to say all you need to do? This is disingenuous. I ain't going to do it with you. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Okay, it's your final word, man. Akoye, I ain't doing it today, man, because, you know, I ain't doing it. Like, I easily won that. It's on you, Akoye.
No, you did, bro.
Okay. I'm going to start with one point you made. Number one, OC, we not that far off. I understand where you're going, but I think to justify some of the examples you use, they not that fair. But like when you said that the quality O-line that he played behind this season, we had Tyron go down before the season started. Yeah, Tyler Smith, a
Mhm.
rookie, had to come in and play musical chairs between two positions most of the season. Yeah, Connor McGovern, he started, did he not start? He fall. He played at some point, then he not playing. You had Barniak, he's playing, then he wasn't playing because we had Biadasz hurt. So we had injuries all up and down the line over and over again. Then when Steele went down, Tony Pollard had 5 games with 214 yards when Steele went down. So the offensive line definitely counted in this season. It wasn't quality when you're playing musical chairs. There's a reason why Joe Philbin is not here and Scolari is, because of the way they designed the run scheme. That's one. So the O-line was definitely in question. And then when you bring in offensive coordinator, it's not in a vacuum, okay? The Mike McCarthy's coming up here saying it. Jerry Jones is coming up here saying it, and they were okay with the move. And we saw that he obviously ran the ball more since 2020. Kellen Moore did. But if the offensive coordinator is still, that means the types of runs, the formations and intensity in which we run actually count. So don't say he got the same amount of carries, but we got linemen that are pass blocking on running plays where their first step is backwards. When you got 5, your first step is backwards and letting the defense hit you. That doesn't make any sense. And I did the film on that several years in a row under Kellen Moore. So I don't even have, you could go look it up. That's not even a shameless plug. It's just factual. We were firing forward in 2016. We were stepping backwards since 2019. That's a problem. That's one. And then injury types. I don't have a problem with y'all saying the guy's declining when they're getting non-contact injuries like Tyron Smith. They're just running and their knees going down, and then they can't quite stay healthy very long like Tyron. That is a decline type of player where it's like the injuries are taking their toll on you. When you get hit and your breaks, like Tony's injury, that's not a decline injury. Zeke's injuries, neither one of them. Last year, he fell on a pylon, got up and played. He got hit on the knee in Denver, got back up and played, and got hit on the same knee again in KC. Didn't put a brace on. You know what I'm saying? And still got up and played. So those are not declining type of injuries. Those are football contact injuries, what can happen to a rookie or a veteran. It's not something that is exclusive to Zeke. That could be anybody. Now, if he came in the season and just got injured just running, those are declining injuries. He can't run at all not because of his weight, but he can't run at all because of his injuries. Then I would say he's declining. So injury types and the type of injuries count, okay? Types of runs count, and the blocking counts, right? And when you talk about short yardage, big game, James, like it ain't about nothing, ask the Eagles, who are about to get the quarterback sneak outlawed, how valuable short yardage plays are and guys who can just push the foul. Their quarterback cannot be stopped in short yardage, and they're about to outlaw that play because of how effective it is in the goal line and the short yardage situations. So you can't say it doesn't count here, but it counts there. It's just a different player doing it, the same idea. And when Zeke does it, we're happy. And when we don't have it, we're like, well, why didn't we run on 3rd and 1? Because we ain't got a guy that can do that, right? We have one that can do it. We need to use him for that. Pay him less, obviously. But like I said, it's really that Kellen Moore can come in here and you don't look at the cause and effect with Zeke, but you do with the quarterback and everybody else's productivity. And when I had the same problem when we had a young quarterback, which was justifiable in that, and we started saying Cole Beasley is now trash, Terrence Williams is trash, Witten is trash, and Dez is trash. Why? There's only one thing that changed. The quarterback at that time. Now the quarterback is good, and you had a coach that didn't do any of the things that we did in his rookie year, which was play under center, where we're good with that, and run and use your running game effectively. We were not doing that, and the only time we did it this season was the 5 games where Dak was out. We relied on the run and ball control and offense, and I think that was a result of Brian Schottenheimer and Mike McCarthy, because it didn't look. Kellen Moore fingerprints wasn't on that. Kellen Moore don't play like that. So to me, I give that credit. The fact that Kellen Moore was here running out of we run out of shotgun more than anything else. Zeke, show me Zeke running out of shotgun as a rookie consecutively. And he didn't have a fullback either under Kellen Moore at all. Zeke's best years were all with that as well. So I'm not saying we go back in time, we go get a fullback and do all that. I'm not saying that. We can run without a fullback. That's what it is. But we got causality actually counts, man. Y'all can't just act like all these things are happening in a vacuum. And that's the only part I got that's crazy. But I agree mostly with you, OC. Big Game James, I feel like, man, there got to be some loyalty there somewhere, man. Some player got to count. Who counts? If no,
Wait, Big, you gotta respond. You gotta respond, Big. See, he called you
Well,
out. So
no,
I responded. No, because you called me out, so I responded. So I'm gonna let you respond on that.
Before you mention something that I want to correct. People mentioned about the quality offensive line and the musical chairs. Wait a second. This will be quick. And I gotta tighten my boy up on this, because at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys finished top 10 rushing yards in the NFL. Is that not quality?
No,
that was quality, man. So if you look at it, it didn't matter about the musical chairs. Really, that was a credit to Philman, because he cross-trained a lot of these linemen, and there was an escalation of cross-training these linemen so they could play and be ready to play different positions in the tenure of Philman. You the number one fighter.
We will.
That's we will, bro. That's we will.
Now, at the end of the day, it was a difference in philosophy. It was some things scheme-wise that they wanted to see differently. But Philman overall, based upon the hand he was dealt, in my opinion, did a good job. And the Cowboys still finished in the top half of the league in terms of rush yards. So it had to be some quality blocks for that to take place. Go ahead.
If they like what Philman was doing, they ain't like it. I ain't like it either.
That's cool.
We don't pass block on run plays. Zeke is not a draw play running back. He's a power back. You run forward and you allow us to fight the guys in front of us. But
understood on that.
You got a good line, but it's not you. You can have
understood on the draw
right here, right? But if you use it wrong, like James take that shotgun and try to shoot long range with it, he using a good tool in the wrong way.
Man,
understood. But Philman was calling the plays. Philman was calling the plays. You know, Philman didn't call the plays. True. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
You're right about that.
Yeah, it was crazy to know that we were bottom in the league in pass block run rate, right? And then we try to run out of it. You know,
crazy?
That's crazy, man. But we know that, you know, philosophy is philosophy. It took 6 running backs in 2016. Elliott was one of those running backs. But let me give you guys the name, because it wasn't just Ezekiel Elliott. We had Alfred Morris, who pretty much helped Ezekiel Elliott. And then you had Darren McFadden, Keith Smith, Rod Smith, as well as Lance Dunbar. Took all of those running backs to have the type of year for Ezekiel Elliott in his rookie. On top of that, you had Lucky Whitehead, by the way. And so that's 7 guys that was running the rock all together. And we was a remarkable team in that year. And Ezekiel Elliott is second all time on rookies. You know, with the touchdowns, he had 15, by the way, big games. And only one other running back got more rushing touchdowns than him as the rookie record with 18, and that's Eric Dickerson, by the way. And that was happened in 19 of 83. So with all of that being said, the Dallas Cowboys heading into, that's a long time for 18 touchdowns. Hey, you know, Eric Dickerson, he's one of those guys, express ponies and all of that stuff. Shout out to SMU. But I would tell you guys this right here, Cowboy Nation, regardless of what happened with the running back situation, just make sure you replenish. Make sure that you have someone that can keep your quarterback upright, that won't whiff on the block and cause your quarterback to go down. Just keep in mind, in 2015, we had got rid of, before, you know, that season started, we got rid of my guy, DeMarco Murray, because we all believed that this dude said, hey, there was a lot of meat left on the ball, and his name was Joseph Randall, right? So, and we know what happened in that year, that, you know, certain person couldn't block that much or that well and laid your quarterback out, and he was on the turf like Family Guy. I don't want that to happen, because I've seen a lot of whiffs of blocks from Tony Pollard. And granted, that $10 million that he's getting, I wish that the Cowboys would figure out a way for him not to play on that franchise tag, to go ahead and stand his due for a 2 to 3 year contract. Because if you look at Tony Pollard, I raised a poll on this on my morning show. I asked people and I said, do you believe that Tony Pollard can do the things that Deebo Samuels can do? And a lot of people say, yeah, Law. We never got a chance to see that. And if you look at what Deebo Samuel's getting paid far as a money side, I don't think that Tony Pollard is getting close to that. So the Cowboys need to understand that they're not just getting a running back out of Tony Pollard, they're getting a specialized weapon. Don't view him as a running back. Utilize him still as that guy that can be utilized in the slot, and it can be utilized in the backfield like Roger in the West system back in the 80s what the 49ers used to do. Use them in that capacity and still utilize Ezekiel Elliott as one of the lead backs or the actual running, so that you can keep that yin and the yang, and you can go out there and draft the running back in the 3rd round or the 4th round or the 5th round and still be serviceable enough and still challenge Malik Davis. Keep in mind, before Rico Didal got hip all jacked up, he was looking better than Malik Davis. So y'all, we got a complete picture. Let's not fall in love with running back, but let's utilize all of those running backs. Just like I said in 2016, they used 6 running backs. So let's continue to grind and shine. That's my time.
Man, there it is. All right, man. So that's the final word, man.
3, 2, 1, drop it.
And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go.
It's time to do.
There it is. All right. So obviously we got to get Akoye back. Jesus Christ, 'cause that was dope. We gonna do this again. Akoye, we got to get you back, dog.
Whenever you say so, man, I'm here. Like
hey, that Keith Smith and that Rob Smith, that rookie year, that wasn't bad though.
Nah,
I wouldn't mind us finding a Keith Smith.
Yeah.
Yep.
And shout out to everybody, though. I want to say this real quick too, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody that's willing to fight with no pride. You know what I mean? I love it. Like, I still got love for everybody. I hit my buttons and all that kind of stuff. But everybody that got their opinions, we all got the right spirit behind us. We all want to win.
100, man.
That's what it is, man. So I loved it. I want to kind
we
of
all want the same thing.
We want the same thing, bro. And I want to say this too, bro.
Right.
I'm actually impressed that we all was able to have this fight with no pride. You know what I mean? Because this is very unique to where we can differ.
Yes, sir.
We can differ, but it's no pride in it. You know what I'm saying? So
that's man shit, man.
Yes, sir.
That is
yes, sir.
Shit, bro. That's real
yes,
talk,
sir.
Bro. We got to find ways to do this again. So wherever we have differences on,
we got to find ways to do this as a people.
Right, exactly. Agree. Well, we can just bring it to the table. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because to be honest, you know, when we put our differences aside, it was points that everybody made that was fair.
For sure.
For sure. So let's get it, man. That's the final word, man. Y'all make
we all
y'all
want
follow
that's all that matters.
Coach Mob said, hey, hire the